This week, our heroes discuss their favorite themes of the decades, from music to viral videos. All this and more on this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. Happy New Year. Welcome to this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. We are good for your ears. I'm Dan, and you can find me at RFS Dan.
And I'm Jess, and you can find me at Gone to the Snow Dogs and Snow Dogs Vlogs.
Jess, it is the end of the year, the end of a decade.
It is.
A quick one. Just in a blink of an eye. It was 1999, the last time anybody made a big deal of a decade change. I don't think anybody cared about 2010 as much as 2020. I was trying to think back over the last 10 years of all the stuff I've done, and it's pretty muddy once you get back to like 2011, 2012 years of like what was actually in this decade and what was like a lot older. Like in this decade, we were making videos this whole decade.
I started in 2009, so it has actually been a full decade.
Wow. It's a lot of editing hours.
Right? I actually went to lunch at the deli the other day, and a friend of mine from high school was there, and her son was with her, and she goes, "He's turning 18." And I'm like, when did that happen? Wow. But even that, it wasn't like I was like, wow, we're old. I was just like, wow, time flies.
Yeah. So, Jess, since it's the end of the decade, I thought on this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast, we'd go over some of our favorites of the decade. And I was looking up lists online, and there's no consensus really to like what the best movie of the decade was or what the best moment of the decade was. It's up to everybody's opinion. So I thought we would just give ours as well.
So I got the list from you of the things we would answer, and I will fully admit a few of them I'm like, bam, that's the answer. And a few of them I'm like, I don't have an answer for that. And then we had game night last night. We had a mini game night last night. And Eric and Greg were here, and Jamie was down here, and we were all talking, and I read some of these things off. And the ones I had a hard time answering, they all had a hard time answering as well. So I completely believe that there's no consensus to a lot of these things of what was the best of the last 10 years. Like, there are just some things that you go, huh. Nothing sticks out in my head. Nothing jumps out and says, that was the thing.
Yep. I was having the same problem too when I was compiling these questions. And that's why I left it up to you guys at home. I made that little mini spreadsheet with the little questionnaire. I put it on the CC Mouse Podcast page, and everybody voted, and everybody had mixed answers, just like I thought.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with this stuff. And the hardest part about the whole thing, in my opinion, was trying to remember what was in the last decade.
Yes.
And that was mostly the reason why I put up that questionnaire. I wanted to see what everybody else thought of this last decade. Some of the stuff I thought of was before 2010. I'm like, wow, like, is it that old?
You're like, wow, that happened that long ago? It feels like only yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was looking up some stuff because I'm like, ooh, that's a good answer. And then I'd look it up and I'd go, wow, that came out in 98. What the heck?
Yes. Although I still watch that now, it really wasn't from this decade per se. I had a hard time. Last night at 11 o'clock last night, I was sitting on the couch with my laptop, and I was still scrolling through my brain and the internet trying to figure out, I could pick one. That's the hardest part.
Right.
I could only pick one. First it was our top three, but I was like, nah, we get one. That's going to make it more challenging.
Yeah, I have more than one, so.
I know, me too.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm like, there's a few of these that there is no way I can do just one. And I have explanations behind them as well, like why there's not just one.
That's fine. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. I guess I should have put these in more anticipatory order. Ooh, is that a word?
Maybe it is now. You can always change the order now.
Nope, too late, because then I'll lose my bullet points. And you guys, if I don't go by this like little spreadsheet here, the podcast is a mess. So
we're like, no.
So our favorite artist of the decade, I had the hardest time with this one. I had the second hardest time with this one.
That one was an easy one for me.
Really? It was probably, I could probably guess here.
I wrote down 4, believe it or not.
Oh my gosh.
I have one that is like 0.5 and another one that's 0.5, so that makes 1.
Is that your loophole?
Well, yeah, because I really couldn't pick between the two. One of them came out in this decade, so I feel like that counts as one. Like, they became discovered in this decade. Another one has been around a little longer, but they're still probably my favorite of the last decade, if that makes sense.
I could probably guess it.
You think so?
It's sunset, sunshine, shine set, sundown, sunshine, shine down, shine down.
So Shinedown is on my list, but it wasn't the number one. But they were definitely on my list. And I feel like Shinedown was on my list because a lot of their music, to me, like, we've talked about this before, lyrics are a big thing to me. And I feel like Shinedown had a lot of songs that just related to my life in the past 10 years. And Shinedown's been around longer than that as well. But Shinedown did make the list.
Who else?
The other one that wasn't really, I almost didn't put him on there, but I'm like, I should probably give him a mention, was Theory of a Dead Man. And I just really like them. Like I've liked them for a long time, but again, they weren't it's not I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but they kind of belong on the list.
Right.
And then the two that are completely tied, that I can't tell you which one I would say is my favorite. I think it would have to be both of them are 10 Years and Nothing More. Nothing More actually came out this decade, so those are probably, of the past 10 years, those two are my favorites. 10 Years and Nothing More.
Was it pretty hard to come up with these?
The 10 Years and Nothing More came to me immediately when I read Favorite Artist of the Decade. I'm like, oh, it's 10 Years. 10 Years was the first one that popped into my head. And then, which is funny because even Spotify said that was my favorite artist of the decade. So that kind of proves it.
Yep,
10
I guess
Years
that
is
does.
interesting. There's a lot of, I don't know how to explain it. There's a lot of songs by 10 Years that I listen to that are, I'm a 90s kid. They're the sad, emotional, relatable. There's a song called Proud of You. For the love of God, anybody listening to this right now, please don't listen to that song because you'll cry when I tell you what it makes me think of. Not that I want to take this to a dark place, but I'm just if you go listen to that song, every time I hear that song, you got to remember, I've lost 3 dogs in the past decade as well. So that was one of those songs that every time I heard it, I thought about this dog and then this dog and then this dog. And then there's another one called So Long Goodbye. So it's a really weird thing for that to be one of my favorite artists of the decade because, like I said, it kind of takes you to a different place. But I also don't think I really share that a lot in what I do. You know what I mean? I'm always I think people think I'm always like this, oh, you're happy and everything's always great. Well, nobody's happy all the time.
Right.
But so I feel like that's just one of those artists that for me is a relatable, it's okay to feel sad. And sometimes it's just what you want. You're like, I'm sad and it's okay to feel sad. And this is what makes me feel less sad, but still, I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then Nothing More is just amazing. If you've never listened to them, you really should. Fade In, Fade Out is a really good song. My favorite, well, I won't say the next part yet because I think we'll get to that.
You really love music, don't you?
You have no idea. Actually, you probably do.
Oh, I do. I get at least 2 to 3 songs a day from you of look at this or listen to that.
Listen to this. Listen to Low Life by Crowbot. You got to listen to this song.
It's fun. It all sounds the same, but it's fun.
Popular Monster is now on TikTok.
I don't know what that is. Is that a comedian?
It's a song. It's a song by Falling in Reverse. The other day I was scrolling through TikTok and I'm like, oh my gosh, that song's on TikTok now?
That's
so
where I learned most of the
now.
songs that I liked from this year is from TikTok.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because you remember before you showed me TikTok how I was 6 months behind everything. I'm like,
yeah.
Look, I'm dabby now, or look, check out this meme. And you're like, oh, that was a TikTok 6 months ago. And then you introduced me to TikTok, and I told you I was all excited to be on the front lines of memes now. So yeah, so I've gotten a lot of the stuff that I've listened to, and I'll listen to it, it'll come on the radio, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, it's a TikTok. And then there'll be more to the song, and I'm like, oh, that's weird, or I like this song.
You're like, oh, I only liked 15 seconds of that song.
Right? Could you just play that on loop, please?
Yeah.
Where's the 10-hour YouTube video of the 15 seconds?
Right? So you probably had a much harder time than I did picking a favorite artist of the decade.
It's hard for me because I don't really listen to music that was made in this decade up until I really started listening to that pop stuff.
Right. See, and you should have had on the list, you should have had favorite podcast, although I wouldn't have been able to answer that.
Right. And I've been listening to podcasts a lot of time. That would be a hard one as well. That would be a hard one.
Right.
As well. You didn't know what a podcast was 12 months ago.
No, not really.
So I don't know if that one would work for you. So, so I did have a hard time trying to figure it out. And obviously, you guys know I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, but the one I picked was Highly Suspect.
That's a really good choice.
Yeah.
That's funny because when I was going through this, they were on my radar. It was one of those bands. No, they're not. But favorite artist of the decade, I can see why you would pick it.
I listened to it a lot when I was going through the stuff that I own versus the stuff that I listened to on Spotify. I was like, yeah, I did listen to a lot of Highly Suspect, and they're from this decade.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah, I know. I thought you'd probably like that.
I didn't think you were going to pick Taylor Swift.
No, that's the easy go-to, just because that's been in my head for the last, little bit, not for the whole decade.
Right, exactly. And that was kind of like when I was looking at bands and lists and stuff, I kind of did the same thing. I'm like, well, I could easily just say Shinedown because I listen to them a lot, but they're not really my favorite. Like, even though I listen to them a lot. I mean, realistically, I could have just said Nirvana because it's my favorite band ever. But that doesn't work.
I was trying to stay within the confines of the last 10 years, and I was trying to I was trying to be fair to the early years of the decade, because that's right. All the stuff that I picked is all the stuff that's come to mind, which is going to be stuff over just the last few years.
Now, if you would have asked me this question earlier in the decade, like what my favorite band of the moment is or whatever, like earlier in the decade, I would have probably would have picked Avenged Sevenfold, A7X.
They just fell off your list?
I don't. Well, after their drummer died and everything kind of changed for their band, I don't know. They're different now than they were when I first heard them. So I don't feel like I enjoy them as much now as I used to. Which I know some people that are like hardcore fans are like, you like everything no matter what. I still like A7X. And like if somebody said, hey, you want to go to an A7X concert? I would still go. I've been to one and I would still go. But they're just not something that I seek out and listen to as much as I used to. Gunslinger by A7X. Listen to that song.
That's fair. So when I was doing our homework for this, the internet was all over the place, but the two names that came up for artists of the decade, could you guess?
Oh, Taylor Swift.
Sure.
No, what? Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I don't have another. Probably some pop artist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nobody got any love in the top 100 outside that genre of music.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So Drake was the other one.
Oh.
Yeah. The internet.
My heart.
Ed Sheeran was a close third.
I do like Ed Sheeran. Yeah. I think I like Ed Sheeran, and I'm not knocking Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has an amazing voice, and one of the things I like about Taylor Swift is she writes a lot of her own music, and she actually can sing. I do like those things about her. Same thing with Ed Sheeran, and Ed Sheeran writes a lot of his own music, and he actually has a voice. Like if you put him on a stage and make him do everything acoustic, same with Taylor, make them do everything acoustic, they can sing. I like pop artists like that, that actually have that real talent. They chose to be a pop artist, but that's okay. Like, I get it. Pop music's fun.
Yeah, right. So,
but Drake?
Drake. That's for
really,
the decade.
People?
So, what about the CC Mouse audience? What do you think their top two was?
Oh my gosh, I don't know that I know that much about everybody to guess. Somebody better have said 10 years. No, just kidding.
No. The podcast group overwhelmingly picked Taylor Swift.
Of course.
And Ed Sheeran was a close second.
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
Let me read some of the other answers. Prince, Luke Bryan, Logic, Skillet, Eminem,
Ooh,
Dolly
Logic
Parton.
is good. Logic's a good answer too.
Rob Zombie.
Ooh, that's a good answer. Has he made anything in the last decade?
I don't know. I was just thinking about that with Dolly Parton, but good job, Dolly Parton, for making the list.
That's funny.
So after that, we have to talk about our favorite song of the decade.
Ooh.
How was that you to decide?
Now, that one was actually pretty easy for me, and I actually have a pretty funny story that goes along with it. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll just tell mine first. So Octane on SiriusXM did this top songs of the decade countdown, and I think they did 100 songs or 60 songs. I don't remember, because I always get in the car and it's in the middle of it and I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get to the end of it. And I can listen to it on demand, but I haven't yet. So the other day, I was going to the deli and I'm on my way home and it's like number 3. And I'm like, oh, I'm staying in the car until this is over because I want to know what they think number 1 is. So they did number 3 and then they did number 2. And right before, mind you, I'm in the car all by myself. I hate the fact that I was all by myself because they're like, they ended number 2, and before they even started talking about number 1, I'm like, it's going to be Now Is the Time by Nothing More. It's Now Is the Time by Nothing More. And I'm in the car saying this out loud. And he starts talking and he's like, this is a band that we introduced to you in 2013. I'm like, it's Nothing More. It's Nothing More. It's going to be Now Is the Time by Nothing More. Guess what song it was? Now Is the Time by Nothing More.
And
I'm in the car freaking out going, nobody was in here. I came home and I'm like, Jamie. I'm like, I guessed it. And I was right. And it's because it's actually my favorite song of the decade is Now Is the Time by Nothing More. Now Is the Time Ballast, that version. And I'm like, maybe it's going to be Jenny. I'm like, no, it's nothing. It's got to be Now Is the Time. And sure enough, that was the song. So I was freaking out that was the song. And I had already written it down on the list before I heard it. So Octane agrees with me.
Right. Yeah, since you wrote it down first before they said it.
I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, Now Is the Time by Nothing More, I would say that's my favorite song of the decade. I listen to that a lot. That's a song where when I'm playing my Spotify list, if that song comes on, I don't skip it. It goes all the way through to the end before I'm allowed to listen to another song. I really like that song. I like that song a lot. I did pick more than one,
yeah,
of course.
What else you got?
I also picked Shoot It Out by 10 Years, kind of going with, the bands that I liked. And then, of course, I had to, and like I said, it's not my favorite, but it's probably one of the songs I listen to more than any other song, which is strange because it just came out, would be Get Up by Shinedown.
But does that have to do with it being like your alarm song?
Probably. I think that, but if you actually listen to the lyrics of Get Up, it's one of those songs when you really need motivation to do something. It's a song that I tend to listen to, and it does motivate me to actually start doing things. I don't know why, because of the lyrics, and that's what it's supposed to do. It's just that once in a while reminder that you need to just, get up and do something, and this is what you need to do. Yeah, those would be mine.
This is the one I had the hardest time on because I like the ideas of music more than the songs. I like the pop music. So all those songs are fun to me. They all have catchy beats. They all have fast, upbeat music. I really like fast, upbeat, happy music, full bands. But I was like, that's too easy. That's recent, Dan. We're like, what about through the decade? And it's another highly suspect pick, and it's Bloodfeather. I really like that song.
That was a really good song.
It's upbeat. It sounds unique. I like the guy's voice. So I chose that one. I chose that one, and what else came to mind, but I couldn't tell what decade that was in, was Untis from Bloodhound Gang. That's so fun. That's such a fun song.
That's one of Jamie's favorite songs.
I love it. It's so upbeat. It's manic. It gets stuck in my head all the time. I'm always doing it in the kitchen, and and so I really like that. But I didn't want to look it up. But I couldn't remember if that was from this decade or not. So, but I do like that. That's honorable mention.
Yeah, it's a good song.
So, any guess now of what the internet thought about the song of the decade?
Probably some Taylor Swift song.
No, you'd be wrong on this. Whoa. All the lists that I looked at lots of lists, like Forbes and CNN and all the BuzzFeed stuff, and I don't think she was on the top of it. I don't think she was on the top.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think she was on the top for the decade. Nope. It was actually Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
Oh. Yeah, I can see that. Too.
And
I can see that. Happy by Pharrell.
Ooh, that was not there.
Didn't that come out this decade?
I don't know. It wasn't on any of the... I don't think I saw it on any of the lists. I did see another Ed Sheeran song, Shape of You, was real popular. That made a lot of the lists, too. And I'm getting my data from just clicking on... I spent a lot of hours just clicking on things, and just what popped into my head that I saw highest up on the list. Because everybody had a different list.
Right.
So the podcast vote for the favorite song was Strike a Match, Calm Down, Crash My Party...
Calm Down.
Jolene, another Dolly Parton song.
Oh, I love that song. Jolene is probably one of my favorite, and I love just about the White Stripes version. I love just about every version of that song I've ever heard. I love that song. I love the original the most. I love Dolly Parton's version of it. But yeah, I agree with whoever picked that. That's an amazing song.
I did not realize how popular that song is because a lot of the bands I like have a cover of Jolene.
Yeah, a lot of them.
So that'll end our music section. we can head on over to the movie section now and talk about our decade's favorite movies.
This was insanely hard for me because I don't watch a lot of movies, and when I do, I'm watching movies that came out like 5 or 6 years ago. I don't tend to watch a lot because we don't go to the movies because it'll break your back here.
Right.
We don't really go to the movies a lot. So I was trying to think like, what have I seen that I would watch over and over and over? This was probably a lot easier for you to pick.
No,
I don't know though, because
I couldn't pick all the way up until we hit record. I was staring at that blank space.
Really? Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I'll go ahead.
So, like, there was a part of me that wanted to pick Star Wars, but I'm like, I can't. I mean, it's Star Wars. Of course, it's one of my favorites, and it's one that I can watch over and over and over. But I actually picked Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good. Not the sequel, right? Just the regular one.
The first one that Tim Burton did, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. It came out really early in the decade. And I think I saw it 5 times in the theater because anytime I would hear that somebody else was going, I went. I saw it in 3D a couple of times and we saw it in 2D a couple of times. Like the first time I went and saw it, I believe Jamie went with me. And then it was like the next day a friend of mine was going and I'm like, I'm going back. I want to go see it again. So I feel like Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland would be my favorite movie of the decade. I put down that, and then the other one that I wrote down was Up, because I really like that movie too. But Alice in Wonderland, definitely my favorite movie of the decade.
That was a really good one. I remember being super, super happy exiting the theater going like, wow, that was such a good reimagination of a story.
Yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was my pick.
Got anything else?
The only other one I listed was Up. Like that and Star Wars. Like other than that, I was trying to think of movies and trying to think of things we've watched. Like I don't think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a favorite movie of mine, but I think that came out before the last 10 years. I didn't even look it up. I'm like,
that's an
I think that came out a long time ago.
Oh yeah. That came out a long time ago. That barely made the last decade before.
Right. Yeah, so I only listed those 2 because I just couldn't think of any others.
This one hurt my brain, and I was just like, stop trying so hard, Dan. And I like a lot of independent movies. I like a lot of like rom-coms, like that's my jam, obviously. And I was trying to think of anything that stuck out from any of those movies, and it was all a tie. And I was like, you know what? Just go with like what flashes in your mind. And a couple movies flashed into my mind, and I had to pick one of the 2. I did pick Star Wars. I did. I got the most excited in my memories looking back over the last decade for episode 7 to come out. I was really hopeful. I was excited for more Star Wars, more characters, more fun. Yeah. I felt the same way about the Avengers movie. When the first Avengers movies came out, I was like really excited that my comic books finally got the respect, and I was even more excited that they finally did something we always wanted growing up, which was taking the actual actors from other movies and putting them in one movie. Oh, it could never happen. And everybody always plays a different part. There's always a different Captain America. There's always a different Spider-Man. But they did it. They put the real actors from all the independent movies in one Avengers movie. And I was super excited about that.
Right.
So those 2 are superficial. Blockbuster hits, fun times, popcorn 3D. But that's what's in my head. That's what's in my head. There's a lot of like other independent movies and stuff that I've seen. But the fun moments in the movie theaters with Blake is what stuck out over this last decade.
Right. Star Wars, definitely the first one. Like you said, episode 7, what was that? The Force Awakens?
Yeah, we were in line before you could pick your own seats. We stood in line and waited.
Yeah.
That was
definitely... Like I said, that was definitely on my list, but I felt like it was just... I'm like, that's kind of an easy answer. I want to think of something that's not Star Wars.
I was trying too hard, and then my brain... there was smoke coming out of my ears. So, like, I couldn't do it no more. My brain was on overload. So I'm like, this is it. This is what comes to mind.
That's the honest answer. That's the one.
It is. So the internet picked Star Wars, obviously, but the 2 that were on everybody's list way high up there, you'll never ever guess these 2 in a million years, so don't even try. It's Mad Max and the social media.
I would have guessed Mad Max. When I was looking for movies in the past decade, I saw that movie, Mad Max Fury Road, so many times on the list. It was a good movie.
I did not watch it.
Oh, I watched it, but I've watched all of the Road Warrior movies. Like that was Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Road Warrior, Mad Max were the movies my dad would watch over and over and over and over. So I know the original Mad Max movies really well. So when Fury Road came out, we did watch that. We didn't watch it in the theater, but we watched it when it came out on on DVD or whatever. And
I'll
I did like that. It's good. I liked it. If you like the original Mad Max, you'll like it. It was good.
Well, here's what happened. The trailer comes out. It looks fun, but the problem is I live in Mad Max Town. Like, they're just heading to the store. Like, that's just up Sierra right there, just to get to the liquor store. You just go up that dirt road and make a left. Like, I live in that town, so maybe it wasn't as aesthetically pleasing to me as I would have liked it to be, but it is up there on the list. I should give it some respect.
Yeah, you should watch it.
So what about the group? What do you think our friends on the CC Mouse podcast group thought the best movie of the decade was?
I'm going to guess Star Wars.
You are correct. And a few versions of Star Wars.
And Frozen.
You know what? I don't think Frozen made the list. Let's go through the list real quick.
I almost put it on my list.
Frozen?
Yeah, I really like that. I should have it on there. It should be Alice in Wonderland, Up, and Frozen.
I still have not watched Frozen.
Oh, I love it. It's such a good movie.
So here's what they said: Ford versus Ferrari, Togo, Lion King, Days of Thunder. Ooh, that's an oldie. Gone in 60 Seconds, Ex Machina. There's one Frozen, Suicide Squad, The Hobbit, Blade Runner, Bohemian Rhapsody. That was a good one. Rogue One.
That was a good movie.
Rogue One was good.
That was good too.
Interstellar, Whiplash, Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my gosh, how fun was that? Chris Pratt.
That was a good movie.
Good job. Yeah, Chris Pratt. So that's a pretty diverse pick for movie of the year.
Yeah.
I came across this list that showed all the movies of all the decades that came out, right? So I scroll all the way back to like let's go to the 30s. So I get over to the 30s, and the biggest grossing movies of the 1930s was Gone with the Wind. But here's my point. Right after that, it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Wizard of Oz, right?
Uh-huh.
So then when we go down to the 40s, Bambi, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Song of the South are the top four. The 50s, Lady and the Tramp, Peter Pan, Cinderella, Sleepy Beauty. Holy cow, Disney. 60s,
yeah, Disney dominated.
It did. The Sound of Music was top of the 60s, and The Graduate. Wow. So movies are starting to climb up there. So the 60s didn't really have too much Disney up towards the top,
right?
But when you get to the 70s, it is Star Wars, Jaws, Grease. Oh wow, Grease was there too. Wow. Right. So when you get to the 80s, it's E.T., Star Wars, Batman. Then when you get to the 90s, it's Titanic, Star Wars, Jurassic Park. All right, Jurassic Park, Star Wars.
Wow.
Then the 2000s, Avatar, Dark Knight. Wow, the Dark Knight did really, really well.
Yeah.
But everything from like the 70s on was either Star Wars or from the 40s on was either a Star Wars or a Disney character product. And now if you look back and you scroll through all these decades of movies, Disney owns 90% of the top grossing films that were ever, like they own the IP of everything ever made ever.
Yeah.
It is.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And if you look at the of this last decade, Star Wars The Force Awakens was one, then Avengers Endgame, Black Panthers, Avengers Infinity Wars, Jurassic World, which slipped in there, and then back to Marvel's Avengers, another Star Wars, The Incredibles, The Lion King, and another Star Wars movie. So Disney owns and when you go through these lists, just Toy Story's in here, but Disney owns almost everything now that's ever been put on television that made a profit.
Yep. Good job,
cow.
Disney.
Good job, Disney. Way to take over everything slowly and quietly.
Right.
So the next topic was TV show of the decade. And this one was really easy for me. And then I started thinking about some of the other stuff that came out in the decade after I picked. And then it became a little tougher to hold on to my number one choice. What did you have for television show of the decade?
I'm so bad at this because I don't watch a lot of TV shows regularly.
Or just like episodic. So stuff that has a beginning and an end and multiple seasons and episodes.
Right. I wrote down a couple of things because, like, I mean, realistically, favorite TV show of the decade, it didn't start in this decade, but it ended in this decade, was Bones. I really liked Bones, and I really liked House. But, like, I don't know, I was trying to pick something, and the other ones that showed that kind of, like, came to the front were, like, Gotham. I really liked Gotham.
You do talk about Gotham a lot.
It was a really good show, and I'm so sad that they ended it, because it was good. I really liked it. And then, I mean, realistically, I had to put it on here, was the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
Really? That was your number one?
Yeah. Yeah, out of everything that I could think of, like I said, we don't watch a whole lot of TV. Like, we watched The Masked Singer, I've watched America's Got Talent, all those things, you know, American Idol. I watch those, but I don't watch them like, it's, if I miss an episode, I'm not like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't believe I missed it. But, like, we never missed an episode of Gotham. I never missed an episode of Bones. And we watched Dark Crystal Age of Resistance almost straight through. Letterkenny is another one that I really liked.
That is what I thought you were going to pick.
I only just discovered that this year. You know,
That's
it's
true.
just
But you quote it more than anything right now.
well, because it's hilarious.
And I guess I've only known you like more than half the decade, but as long as I've known you, that's probably the most quotable thing that you do.
Is the Letterkenny?
Yeah, as a Letterkenny stuff.
I really like it. It definitely. I wish I would have found it years ago when it first came out, but I really like it. It's funny. It's silly. It's I don't know. It makes me laugh. I really enjoy it.
Bones was good. We watched a lot of Bones. That was a good show.
I watched it all the time. Like that. That's one of those shows that I could just put on and let it play from season 1. That, and as horrible as it is, Law and Order SVU. It's got to be SVU.
There's more murder mysteries going on in this house than probably anything else, and I think it is Law and Order SVU. You gotta love Ice-T.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that she's dead, right?
It's like the worst part about it. It was the same thing with. It's same thing with Bones. Bones and Law and Order are exactly the same. They all start off the same. In the beginning, there's a dead body, and they got to find out who did it. Like that's but that's pretty much how it's like. Here's the beginning, middle, end. By the end of the hour, they figured it out. Whoa!
It's the Scooby-Doo theory.
Yeah, but it works. I mean, Law and Order SVU's been on now like 22 seasons. I think they have.
Oh yeah, no sign of stopping either, and it's almost all the same actors as in the beginning too. It's just been going on forever.
Oh yeah, it's been going on a long time. Yeah, so those would be mine. Let me guess, Game of Thrones.
Yes. Oh, easy one. Absolutely Game of Thrones. And I was trying to figure out like what other, because that's out of all time, Game of Thrones, Sopranos, and Video Game High School are like my top 3 favorite shows ever. But none of those really came out in the last decade per se. So Game of Thrones, I had the most ups and downs, love-hate relationship. We got into fights. I've made up with Game of Thrones, and we're still kind of maybe barely on speaking terms again. But it was absolutely Game of Thrones, and the other one that I thought of was The Office. I really liked The Office.
See, I never watched The Office when it was on TV. Same thing with like Big Bang Theory. When Big Bang Theory first came out, everybody told us that they're like, oh, you and Jamie would love this show. And normally when people say that, they're never right. Like, we'll start watching something and be like, no, this is not something we would enjoy. So when everybody was telling us, oh, Big Bang Theory, we never watched it. I don't think we started watching that up until this year, watching reruns and stuff. But we both actually like it. And The Office was the same way. I didn't watch The Office until it came out on Netflix. And then we watched it from start to finish on Netflix.
Did you like it?
And I did. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I liked that show.
Until it got bad at the last end of the season. And that's what I have problems with the television shows is I'm never satisfied. And like, okay, so I didn't like the last 2 seasons of The Office. It was awful. I did not like the last season of How I Met Your Mother. It was awful. I did not like the last 14 seasons of Big Bang Theory. It was awful. So I like the television shows that just get canceled. Just cancel the show. Then I don't need your conclusion that doesn't go along with my thinking. And I know that's not good, but you guys get it too.
That was how I felt with Once Upon a Time. Because I almost put that on my list, but I'm so angry with how they ended it that it just can't be on the list.
Yep, Game of Thrones crushed me. Remember that? You had to like console me.
Yeah. When Once Upon a Time came out, the first like 3 or 4 seasons were really good, and they kept introducing new characters, and then they were in these new lands, and then there was Captain Hook is here and all this. I don't know, it was just so because I'm such a Disney fan, I felt like it was such a great idea for a show. And then it was like they would kill off characters and you're going, this doesn't make sense. And then they'd magically come back and you're going, wait, no, this doesn't, now they're in a different, no, this doesn't make sense anymore. And then towards the end of it, when their main character was leaving the show, they had to end it, and they just did a horrible job ending it. And it just, because of that, I don't even know that I would rewatch the series. Like, it's just one of those things where you're just like, no, I cannot rewatch this.
yeah, and that's their artistic, that's their view on it. I get it, but it just, I'm mad at all of them. I'm trying to think of an ending of something where I've been happy at.
Right.
I think the end of Video Game High School made me a little happy, and the Sopranos ending, oh my gosh, I went crazy at the Sopranos ending for months. Even now, it still boggles my mind, but in a good way. Game of Thrones, I'm just salty.
Right.
Like, I'm not coming back from that. So the internet had so many choices. Oh shoot, what's it called? True Blood. I did not watch True Blood.
I didn't watch that either.
I did not watch that. That was popular on the list. Justified was on there. a lot of people said Breaking Bad and Stranger Things.
Oh, I didn't even think about Stranger Things.
Stranger Things was really good.
Stranger Things should be on my list.
In charge of kicking off the 80s genre again.
Yeah.
Bringing the 80s back. Thank you, Stranger Things, for putting that in everybody's face.
When we were at the movies to see Star Wars, when I went the second day with Greg, we were watching through previews, and I made the joke to him. I'm like, watch these previews. Everything is bring back the 80s because Stranger Things worked, and we can't come up with new movie ideas, so remake movies from the 80s. And as we started watching it, Greg looks at me and he goes, you're not wrong.
As you guys watched Top Gun trailer.
Yeah. There was some really weird one that had like all the 80s music and the 80s everything. And apparently they didn't do a good job because I don't remember what it was a preview for.
Right. They didn't do a good job of getting it in your head. I like the 80s comeback, though. I'm okay with it. The podcast group, for their favorite shows, picked Big Bang Theory, CSI, The Masked Singer, The Office, Supernatural. There's a Game of Thrones. Yes. Thank you. House. I did not watch House.
I loved House.
Downton Abbey, Black Mirror. That was interesting. Somebody's favorite show is Saturday Night Live. Family Guy, Criminal Minds, Supernatural. Yeah. I did not watch Supernatural.
House was a show that they ended when they ended it, and they actually wrote off the end. I think the ending of that series was amazing.
Of House, it's ended. It's gone. It's not like Grey's Anatomy where it's going like 14 years later.
No, House was on for a really long time. But when they ended the series and they did their series finale, the series finale of that was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
Like it was just the right way to end it. Yeah, it was just the right way to end it. Like that was a good ending.
I'll have to check that out. Did you watch ER at all?
Yes.
For years, right? How long did we watch ER for? Like a forever.
Long time.
Like if you started watching ER and then when you got to the end, like everything that you watched in the beginning was out of style, outdated.
Yep.
And God, I watched a lot of ER too. Oh my gosh. It got out of control though. At one point, like a helicopter fell on somebody on top of the ER or something. Like it was getting bad. That was like post like Clooney days though.
Yeah. How do we make this better? I don't know.
Let's drop a helicopter on it.
I do really like Masked Singer. I just finished season 2 of that, and season 3 starts like in January. They're already starting it up again. I really did like Masked Singer.
No, guilty pleasure. I did not watch that one.
I liked it. I don't know enough actors and singers to be really good at the guessing part of it, but like I guess Ninja, the first episode was they were giving all these clues, and I'm like, that's Ninja. Nobody guessed it. I'm like, it's got to be, and sure enough, it was Ninja. So he was on The Masked Singer.
Yeah, no, I've not watched any of that. I've seen the commercials for it, and they look like they're in these like really oversized like costumes, not costumes, but like almost like mascots.
Yeah.
And then are they really singing?
Yeah, they're really singing. Some of them are professional singers. Some of them are, actors. Some of them are YouTube creators or Twitch stars or whatever. And they're really singing. And like to be on the show, you can't tell your family, you can't tell anybody. And they have to I don't know if they're called like bodyguards, but they have people when they leave their rooms to go to the show, they have to have like a full mask on their face and nobody can know who they are. Like it's an intense show. It's really neat.
Wow, that's crazy. Nope, I have not seen. How do you decide what mascot you are?
They get to pick based on and sometimes their outfits will have something to do with their real life. Like it will relate to them in real life. So you can try to guess off of what they pick to dress as. So yeah, it's interesting. I like it. I enjoyed the show. But I'm a old school American Idol fan. I like singing shows.
Yeah,
so.
Were you around since the Kelly Clarkson days?
Oh yeah.
I watched season 1. Who didn't? That was very popular.
Yeah, last year's was horrible. I didn't even watch the whole thing.
I thought they were done and canceled.
They were, and then they came back. ABC, I think, brought them back, or one of the other networks bought the show and brought it back. But they're doing it differently, and it was bad. I didn't like it.
I think I dipped out during Paula's meltdown stage. I think that's when I was like, all right, I'm good.
Right.
So on to the next topic. Favorite video game of the decade. We don't have to spend too much time on this. And it's hard to pick. Like, what do you go by? Do you go by, like, fun value? Or do you go by, like, most times clicking the mouse? Like, how do you figure out video game of the decade?
I don't play as many video games as everybody else, so this one was pretty easy for me.
What you got?
I picked Mario Kart and Heroes of the Storm.
Okay, which is the only 2 games that you play, except for that one game you were playing for a while where you're shooting doggy biscuits.
Oh, Dog Sled Saga.
Dog Sled Saga. Yeah, don't leave out Dog Sled Saga. You played that for a minute.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
For me, I played the most Diablo 3 this year. Like, I played that a lot. And Minecraft.
Yeah, see, I never got into that game.
Minecraft came in, and I played the heck out of Minecraft for a while. It was great. It was so new. So many things spawned, like Stranger Things. So many things came out of Minecraft.
Right.
So many clones. So I had a lot of fun with Minecraft. Now I try to play it the other day with Blake, and it's so much stuff's changed in it. It's almost unrecognizable as far as like the things you can do in there. So
right.
much. Of the internet, however, they had a few different opinions on it. A lot of it was Fortnite.
Ugh.
A lot of people like Fortnite and that genre, but nobody picked Minecraft. I wonder if it came out before the decade.
Maybe.
I don't think
but
so.
A lot of people still played it.
Yeah, I remember it being like 2012 or 13 maybe.
Right.
But nobody picked Minecraft, and Minecraft was super innovative at the time.
See, you specifically wrote video games, so I couldn't actually pick my favorite game.
Well, what's your favorite game? Is it Catan?
Yeah.
Oh, you love Catan.
Yeah.
Is it because you dreamed of a life of like living that style?
Totally. No, there's a new space version of Catan.
Oh my gosh, it's out of control. I saw a Game of Thrones Catan the other day. I'm like, all right, you're gonna get all the way to the end, and then you're just gonna be disappointed. So the podcast groups, their favorite video games were Minecraft, Fortnite, Mario Kart, City Skies, Pokemon Go. A couple Pokemon Go's on there.
Is that City Skyline or whatever it is?
Yeah,
City
that
Skyline. Yeah, Jamie plays that. He built pretty much our town, I think it was. Like he's built some really cool stuff in there. I've watched him play it a few times. That's a really neat game.
On City Skylines?
Yeah.
That one looks kind of fun.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, what was it called? Sim City, only more advanced. Yeah, it's really neat.
I really liked SimCity.
Yeah, you'd probably like it.
Overwhelmingly, people don't play video games in the podcast group. I noticed a lot of people says not applicable, don't play games. Somebody said Breath of the Wild in parentheses, not boring, because I'm the only one in the world I guess that thinks that game is boring. So yeah, people were everywhere on that. Mario Kart was on there a few times.
Right. Well, I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm. So on to something a little bit more fun. Your viral challenge of the decade. What did you do or have the most fun of watching or participating in?
This was like the hardest thing ever for me, and the first answer that we came up with when we were talking about it last night, which I laughed so hard, so I figured I had to say out loud, was the Tide Pods challenge.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Was that all just a hoax? Because I don't know if I really saw. I saw people mimicking it after it was all went. But that was a hoax, right?
It was all a hoax, yeah.
I remember that, and they do look tasty. Every time I don't put one in the washing machine, but I have them for the dishwasher.
Right.
And I want to bite into it and have it just like gush into my mouth, like one of those gusher fruit snacks.
No.
It looks.
That was what I wrote down as a joke, because when we were all talking about it, I'm like, that's kind of funny, because I had a really hard time with this. I'm like, I'm not big into doing like the challenge videos and even watching like the try not to laugh, try not to blah. I don't know. They're just not. I feel like when those things happen, it's like everybody does it, and then it just becomes oversaturated instantaneously. So the one that I really picked, which was probably one of my favorite ones, maybe because I made a video on it, but even at that, it took me a long time to actually cave and make the video on it, was the What the Fluff challenge. I really liked watching those from other people as well, where I gotta do it with Kira still. I wonder what she would do.
But see, that's easy, that's clean, nobody's getting hurt, nobody's going to the hospital.
Yep, I liked that.
So for me, mine was super easy. Can you guess which one I like?
I have no idea.
Mine was the Harlem Shake.
Oh yeah, that was this year too. That was this decade too.
Yes, I remember sitting down. It was the middle of summer. I'm hot. I'm watching Harlem Shake video, and I'm doing it until everybody in the house is at nausea, and they're just like, you cannot play that song anymore. And I watched them. I watched hours of Harlem Shake videos. I even made a Harlem Shake video. I made a Harlem Shake video where I was the only person in the Harlem Shake video, and I cloned me a bunch of times doing the Harlem Shake. That's how much, guys, I like the Harlem Shake. I don't know what it was. It was great, and it didn't die out for a long time. I tried to find the origin of it. I tried to find the original video of it. It got me. That, and I did a lot of the cinnamon challenge. I think there's at least 3 or 4 versions of me doing the cinnamon challenge. One in this kitchen here, where I blew cinnamon all over the house, and to this day, it's still kind of gritty. Did you ever do that? Did you ever do the cinnamon challenge?
No.
Can you guess what challenge the internet said?
I had a really hard time with this just because I couldn't really think of a lot of them because it wasn't something I followed. So I don't know.
There was a lot of them. There was Batmaning. There was planking. Oh my god, I planked. Oh man, I planked.
Oh my gosh.
I climbed like 3 racks up in the like toiletry area of the Walmart, and just I planked there. I planked on the roof of a car, of the roof of a building. I remember planking. Oh my gosh, I would try to do the Batmaning thing. Do you know what that is? When you try to you hang upside down on the door and you try to put your feet on the door and hang for a picture before you fall on your head.
Oh my gosh.
But I could never hang in time. Like the picture couldn't be taken fast enough, and I did fall on my head a few times. But the internet overwhelmingly said ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
We did that one. We did do that one.
Did you do the Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yeah, we did. We did that one.
I don't think I did it. I can't recall. I've done a lot of challenges, but I don't think I did the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yep, we did that one. I think I did 2 versions of it as well.
That one is the one that swept the internet by far the most for viral videos. And even in the podcast group, overwhelmingly it was the Ice Bucket Challenge, in second place by What the Fluff.
Yeah, that's the one I liked.
Yeah, but that was the one that everybody did. Celebrities did it. Ex-presidents did it.
Right.
They all participated in the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. So that was the most viral video. Next, we have favorite word of the decade. And this one, when I was looking at the list of words that came out this decade, I could not believe all the stuff that's just come and gone, all the stuff that's just in our everyday language now that was from this decade. And a lot of it came from words that were not, they're brand new words. Words that never needed to be made up before, like influencer.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I guess that's new, isn't it?
Yeah. Were you an influencer last decade?
I guess so. That's what they tell me.
So there was a lot of words. Bae was one of them.
Oh.
But doesn't that sounds like old words? We had bad words too back in the day. Everything was the bomb. I remember my mom asking me, like, is the bomb good or not? And I'm like, well, the kids say it is, but in my mind, like, I still just don't think that's good. So what was your favorite teen word of the decade?
I don't have an answer for this.
Nothing?
No, I thought, and I'm like, I have nothing. Nothing comes to my mind. Nothing.
I was just trying to think of all our conversations in this one big flash right now, and if I ever heard you use any internet slang, and I don't think so.
I kind of just was like, I don't know. I have no idea for this one. I drew a blank.
I put the word dab because I'm always.
You do say that a lot.
I'm always threatening to dab. I'm always like, oh, dude, here comes a dab. And then everybody's like, stop. They stop me like I'm a bomb about to go off when I'm about to dab. Like, they're just like, do not dab. So I picked that one, even though I don't agree with, like, any of them. Here's what the podcast group had to say. Yeet, extra, bae, catfish. Oh, my gosh, catfish.
Yeah, that was a pretty popular word.
YOLO. Remember, YOLO, I think, kicked off the decade, right? YOLO's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, another one for yeet. Adulting was on there a few times.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but yeet's another one. But yeah, I forgot about YOLO. YOLO's old now. YOLO's old. The internet picked, for what I could tell, because they don't have the word of the year right now. I don't think they have the word of the decade. They have the word of the year, but they don't have the word of the decade yet.
Right.
You know, same with the AMA, or same with the Billboard Top Charts. They don't have the artist of the decade yet, not until June or April, I think, when they have their awards. So, like, we don't really know who wins that. But the internet, the thing that I looked up the most and saw the most on the top of everybody's list was influencer.
Yeah, I believe that, because that's really a new thing for the past 10 years.
Yeah, and I thought that was a good word. I get it. I thought that was a good word. That's something that just didn't exist. It's not just like a job now. It's like a career. Like, influencers is becoming people's careers as we're getting 10 years into this. And in another 10 years, people will have been able to say that I've done my whole career just being an influencer.
Right.
So I thought that was a good word. I like that one. But yeah, as far as me, I'm trying to think of all the stuff that I say. I'm new to the word yeet. So, and Blake's just like, you gotta get up on the new words, because by the time you use these words, like, nobody cares anymore, Dad. I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm Dad. I was young once. So the next question is favorite viral video of the decade.
I had such a hard time with this.
Yeah, because I feel like all we do is live with inside videos that some of them are more popular than others and make you laugh more than others. But I feel that some of the people that are removed a little bit from the internet and that are more mainstream, is what makes it to that echelon where they get to see it. What makes a good viral video, you know?
Right.
What did you have?
The only one I could think of when I was trying to think of videos that I show people over and over and over is the first honest cable company.
Which one is that? I don't even know if I know that one.
You've never seen that's oh my gosh. That is like one of my favorite videos. And it was viral for the time. I think it has almost 6 million views or something. So it's like viral for the time. But that video is probably the one that here I'll send it to you. That's the one that sticks out in my mind.
Wow, yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
All right, well now you have to watch it.
Okay. Nope. Okay, I watched a part of it. Nope, I have not seen that one before. Oh my gosh, that's pretty accurate and funny.
I love it. It's called The First Honest Cable Company.
We'll put the links. We'll put the links to these videos on our Podbean page.
That was the only one I could really like. The only one that popped into my head. I'm like, it's that video. It's that video.
There's so many. If we stop to think about all the viral videos, there's just been so many.
Yes, there have been a lot of viral videos, and like that was the first one, and then the next one was the Shane Dawson Pizza Hut conspiracy videos.
Oh, that was so fun. I've never been so excited about the possibility of not liking pizza anymore. Like, it was so fun. His stuff was very fun.
Yeah. So those were pretty much the two that I thought of. The cable company one was the first one because that's probably one of my favorite videos. And
that's good. But that's more viral than Shane Dawson.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Shane Dawson stuff was pretty viral. It was on the trending page. It was all over the news. So you can't say it wasn't viral because it was.
You're right. And it probably has more views than that cable company commercial.
Oh, by far.
I didn't see when I thought about what my viral video was. I didn't think that smart. I just thought what made me laugh. You know, people getting punched in the junk or whatnot, or that David goes to the dentist, or that Charlie that got his finger bit, or that kid that falls off of the counter onto the ground, and then so does his little brother.
Oh, jeez.
Cats and vegetables.
Though those are typical viral videos.
Cats on Roombas. So my favorite one that comes to my mind is pen pineapple apple pen.
My gosh,
like pineapple. Oh, and everybody hates it.
Not Gangnam Style.
Not Gangnam Style. Nope. But pen pineapple apple pen.
Pen pineapple apple pen.
Yes. So I chose that one, and the other one that comes to my mind is that kid getting kicked by the train conductor. He's standing there trying to take a selfie really close to the train tracks, and all you see out of the screen is the train conductor hold his foot out, and it just smacks the kid in the side of the head. Have you seen that one?
No, I don't think I've seen that one. Oh my gosh,
now I have to send you this one. You have oh yeah, so I like those ones.
I think I actually have seen that.
Yes, it's 10 seconds long. The kid gets kicked in the head. Justice is served. You're in, you're out. It has everything you want in a movie. It has suspense. It has comedy. It has action. I thought that one was fun as well. The internet, though, overwhelmingly likes hide your kids, hide your wife. They love that. They love that video. And the leprechaun video. Anybody see the leprechaun say hey? Those ones were up there a lot. But the one that stood out the most, and the one that the podcast group also guessed the most. Can you guess what it is?
I don't know.
It's Chewbacca Mom. Everybody loved Chewbacca Mom.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, Chewbacca
That
Mom.
was a good video.
Mm-hmm. I love Chewbacca Mom. I thought it was very fun. But for some reason, it didn't show up on my list until after I read the list. And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of Chewbacca Mom? Like, she was so fun. Other notable mentions that were in the podcast group are the shark scene in If You're Happy, Left Shark, the Area 51 raid not happening. people like that. People like Gangnam Style.
Nobody wrote down Baby Shark. Baby Shark.
Yep. So I noticed a lot of people did, and a lot of people said none. So a lot of people did not really have a favorite viral video. And I know there's a lot more, and I know there's a lot more funny ones, but it's hard to think back of like in the last 10 years of all the ones that have happened. One thing I did notice is there's not very many decade lists on viral videos. So I had to go digging for these, which brings me to our favorite YouTuber of the decade. How hard was this one for you to decide?
Ridiculously hard.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you live more of your life inside YouTube than I do, especially early on in the decade when you were around some of these people that have died off or that
Yeah.
are still around, like that Wheezy Waiter guy. Like you always like that dude because you were there for like the beginning. So you have a lot more attachments to these people personally than I do. So what would you pick for your favorite YouTuber of the decade?
My easy picks, the ones that I'm like, I still watch and still enjoy, was Philip DeFranco. I still watch all the time. And the Vlogbrothers, I still watch all the time. But I'm like, those are easy because I've been watching them since the inception, since they came out. So I was trying to think of people that I discovered even more recently in the past few years that I watch regularly. And Bright Sun Films, which nobody's going to have any clue who they are. You probably don't even know who they are.
Nope.
Bright Sun Films with Jake Williams is probably one of my favorite, at least of the past few years, channels that I don't think anybody knows who he is. And then Brandon Ferris. Brandon Ferris is really popular on Facebook right now, but Brandon Ferris has become pretty popular on YouTube recently as well. And he was just started making videos just a couple years ago. It wasn't even that long ago. I started watching him, and I think he only had like maybe 20,000 subscribers on his channel, and now he's just exploded.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I don't know either of those.
Yeah, Brandon Ferris would be probably another one. And that's what I was trying to pick favorite YouTubers of the decade, like, because easily it's Philip DeFranco, Vlogbrothers, Sean Duras. Those are easy.
I thought you would have picked Sean Duras.
And I can't really say that they're like favorite of the, like, yeah, there's some of my favorite YouTubers. There's some of my, but this, like I said, this was hard for me because those are the easy answers. Like,
right.
But I was trying to think of, who else do I watch regularly that people aren't gonna really know, like, that I, not only that I watch, but like Jake Williams, Bright Sun, his channel is Bright Sun Films.
Is this stuff still going on now?
Oh yeah.
No, I'll have to check that out.
Don't start watching it. You'll get sucked in.
How did I know this?
How
did I not know this about you?
You'll have to watch every single episode, and then you'll get sucked into the proper people, and then you'll get sucked into every other channel that has anything to do with it, and you'll spend 45 minutes watching a video going, I just wasted 45 minutes of my life watching
I gotta watch
nothing.
Out. I'm already sucked into the Dobrik ecosystem with all their side projects and stuff, and that'll take up a half a day.
It's nothing. Bright Sun Films is nothing like anything else I watch on YouTube. Like, Brandon Ferris is funny. Mm-hmm. He's super funny. But Bright Sun Films is not like any other YouTube channel that most people would watch.
Okay, you got me curious. You got me curious now. Now I'm really gonna have to go check it out. So for me, it was, when I thought of who my top like 5 were to narrow it down, I was like, wow, Dan, this is like really like superficial and basic. Like, what about all the smaller people? But that's not what comes to mind. So I'm looking at the 3 of them that I wrote down here, and if I have to pick one, it's hard. It's now versus, okay, here's what it is. It's split between now and early in the decade. Like, Charles Trippy still has such an influence on me. I don't watch hardly any of his stuff anymore. Actually, on my Apple TV, in the algorithm, it brought up some of the old episodes, like from 2009, 2011, and I'll watch some of those, and holy cow, you guys should go watch one of his older episodes, and then you guys could see what qualified for vlogging back in the day. Like, this is what it was like. Like, he was the #1 vlogger. All his stuff was rad. He always had the best cameras. Holy cow, they're hard to watch. And no image stabilization. Everything's blurry all the time.
Right.
And he did it every day. He's got the world record for most days vlogging in a row. I do a lot of what I do because of him. I do not watch any of his stuff. I try to watch some of his newer stuff, and it is not for me anymore.
Right.
I check in with him every now and then, but I do not watch any of his stuff. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I liked his older stuff. Whatever new series that he's got going on right now is just doesn't, like, I just don't follow along with it for no other reason. Right. So I really like Charles Trippy. Blake and I have had the most fun with David Dobrik and all his crew over the last year or so. Him and I have, we save them all up until Blake's here, and then we watch them all. So David Dobrik's really taken over the last half of this year, but he's not he is a creator. I shouldn't say that. He is a creator. He's done this from nothing. He is a creator.
Right.
But the other guy that I had to give credit to that nobody did at all on any of the people's list was PewDiePie. PewDiePie battled it out for us. His content was whatever. The idea of PewDiePie is what I liked.
Well, and I think, like, he's transformed so much. Like, he, started off as one thing and was able to transform into something else. And just, he was able to continue that audience with no matter what he wanted to do, which is really hard for a lot of creators. A lot of times when a creator makes a change and isn't doing what you're used to watching them do, their channels die. Like, you can't, you can't do anything but this. And once you're not doing this, people don't want to watch you anymore. They don't care about anything else.
That's very true. And it's hard because these people are growing up on the internet now. So you watch them evolve and change. And I don't even really like his content more than what his statement is lately of, I'll just sit in this room and I'll have the microphone blown out. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want.
And he really does have the freedom to do it, which, you know, a lot of creators don't. I actually just, you know, you and I went to Vid Summit, and what was one of the big things that we learned at Vid Summit was niche down. You need to niche your channel and niche down. And, you know, you can't just be about, you know, dogs. You've got to be about a specific breed and a specific thing, and you got to be as niche as possible. Like, they like ingrained that into our brains the whole 2 days we were there. Everybody talked about it. You got to have a niche. You got to have a niche or you'll fail. You got to have a niche or you won't be successful. You got to blah, blah, blah. Variety channels don't work. And like, so much so that I actually considered changing my channel entirely and making a secondary channel and having only cooking videos on what, like, you and I have talked about this. I talked to Jamie about this. I've talked to other people about this. Like, should I do this? Is this the right thing? It's a really scary move after 10 years to eliminate 90% of my content and make Gone to the Snow Dogs nothing but a DIY pet channel. Like, is that the right thing to do? And then the other day, I watched a video from one of my favorite YouTubers, Peter McKinnon. I do like Peter McKinnon. I've always liked Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon gets a lot of hate, by the way. There are people that used to love him, and now they're doing exactly what I said. Well, he's changed, and now he doesn't make his Tip Tuesdays, and he doesn't do this, and I won't watch him, and blah, blah, blah. Peter McKinnon made a video the other day talking about moving to his new office, and he pretty much was talking about how his channel is his channel, and he's going to do the things that he enjoys. So if that means he's going to make a video showing you how to make a leather wallet, he's going to make a video showing you how to make a leather wallet. If he wants to make a video showing you how he makes coffee in the morning, he's going to make that video, because the Peter McKinnon channel is Peter McKinnon. And I don't know what it was about that video, but I watched that video, and at the end of it, I'm like, you know what? You're right. It's my channel. Whether 10 people watch it, 10,000 people watch it, I shouldn't have to worry about, because I'm not niche down, I'm not going to be as popular. I don't know. Maybe it was just what I needed to hear at the time, especially after hearing all that stuff at Vid Summit about niche down and niche down.
Right.
I don't know, watching him say that and listening to him say that, I mean, yeah, he's way more popular than I am, so it is easier for him to do that, just like PewDiePie. It's easier for them to make a change, but that wasn't even the point. The point behind it was you can't constantly do what everybody else is telling you to do.
You know, that's a good point. And if you looked at yourself at the beginning of the decade when you started making these videos, none of the reasons why they're happening now is a reason why you started making videos in the first place.
Exactly.
There was no monetization. There was no getting pennies. Remember when they introduced that? Like, you might only get pennies a video, and I'm like, wait, do what? You know, like, there was a time where, like, that's all the YouTube was just love. You just put the videos up there for other people to see, and you got nothing out of it. And that's not how it is anymore. It's all about algorithms or how big my thumbnail. The other day, you're like, dude, your face isn't big enough on your thumbnail, and I'm like, this is what is 10 years ago Dan would say now. Like, this is a job. This is no longer fun. Dan, now you work making videos for a job, and maybe it shouldn't be like that. Maybe you should just do whatever you want on your channels. It is your channel.
And that was kind of like, you know, the point behind it. And it's not that I don't want to put the behind the scenes work and the other type of work. You know, I think I sent you guys a thumbnail the other day that I worked 30 minutes on to make it look right. Yes. But and then the video still flopped. All the work I put into it didn't matter because the YouTube algorithm was like, we still don't like your stuff because your channel's 10 years old and we don't care about you anymore. But it's those type of things, like, you can only take that hit so many times before you're like, the options are to stop caring and just keep creating, or try to do what they want you to do. Like, it's such a different world from when we started 10 years ago. When I started 10 years ago, right. It's such a different world, and it's just interesting. It's very interesting.
It wasn't a paycheck then.
It wasn't at all. I mean, it
wasn't a paycheck then. But, you know, he says all that stuff, McKinnon, but he's got an allegiance of followers. Look at right now, I don't have a job.
Right.
I can do whatever I want. But you know what? I have no money. If I go and I get a job, I'll have money, but I'm doing what other people want me to do, not what I want to do. So, like, where do you find that balance of you wanting to do what you want on your channel, but still being employed? Because you'll get yourself fired if you do it wrong.
Right.
You know, so like, how do you balance that? Oh, this got deep. How do you balance that?
I don't think you really can. I think you just either have to do it and take the risk and live with what happens, or keep doing what everybody else wants you to do. I mean, when I started my channel all those years ago, thinking that making dog treats was going to be the most popular thing I did was going to be what it was, I never would have considered that. Like, that wasn't the thing. But even now, those videos don't do well. So YouTube is ever changing, and doing it for so long, like, I get that. And I think it's just one of those things, just like you said, in life, you either have to take the risk and try to do what you want to do and hope that it works, figure out a way to make it work, or you're going to be forced to do what everybody else wants you to do. And that's not that fun.
No, but it happens, because here's another analogy. How's your TikTok doing right now?
Well, it depends on the day and the time and what video I upload. The video I uploaded yesterday that was adorable got like 3,000 views. So the video I uploaded the other day where I was with Loki the Siberian with Steve, I did a duet with Steve, has like 60,000 views. So video was adorable. So
when you first got your TikTok, you loved it because you didn't care about the numbers, you didn't care about the metrics, you didn't care about anything, and it was free. Right. Nobody was there. Now everybody's there. Everybody's watching. You have millions of views on TikTok. Is it still just as fun, or do you now have the pressure to produce product because of the numbers that are backing it?
Because my TikToks either do really well or they don't, and my following has slowed to almost nothing, I still just have fun with it and put up what I want. I'm not trying to do every single challenge that comes out, or I'm not trying to do the hashtags of the day. I don't even do those. Like, if I have a cute 15-second video that works well with music, I'm putting it up there. If 3,000 people watch it, I don't care. It was cute.
Right, because that's not what's paying the bills.
No, I don't make anything from TikTok. I need to do more live streams on there to do that, but I maybe this year I will. I haven't gotten any sponsored deals on TikTok yet, so for me, it's still very freeing, and I do still really enjoy it. I feel like it's still a platform where I don't have to worry so much.
Do you think Instagram, by removing all the likes on photos that are coming up soon, has that same mentality of maybe it'll make that more of a relaxed environment where you can do whatever you want because there's no more metrics?
No, I think Instagram removing likes on everything, like, we could do a whole podcast on this, but I think the Instagram removing likes on everything is stupid because only you can't see how many likes I have on my stuff. I still can. So it doesn't do anything. It literally does nothing. I'll still be able to see whether or not my own photo or my own video on Instagram got 2,000 likes or 5,000 likes or whatever. So I'm still going to have that. I'm still going to have that issue where you open it up and you go, why did this one get 10,000 likes and this one only got 2,000 likes? And how come this is, got this many, but this one only got this many? No, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything.
But it turns into a one-way street. Now, like, I can't gauge your size by just looking at your photo now. I need to, like, go investigate one layer deeper and go to how many subs you have to see if this photo's, like, to see if you're popular or not.
See, but I really don't do that on Instagram now. Like, I don't look at how many likes a photo has and be like, oh, they're really popular. I don't do that now. So I don't think that affects me. And maybe it does other people. Maybe other people see it and that affects them. But that doesn't affect me. What affects me is the back end of it. How many likes did what I post get? That's what I thought they were trying to fix was, the stress behind it. You're not fixing the stress behind it by making it so I can't see other people's likes. Same thing with YouTube rounding off the subscriber numbers. That doesn't fix anything. They did it because, one, they thought it would make things better, and two, they did it because people were live streaming like PewDiePie's sub count. They didn't want people to do that anymore. They thought it was a way to game the system. So now they round off sub numbers, it's the same thing. It's stupid. Who cares if it says 233,000 or 234,000 and there's no single digits in between there? You're not taking stress away from anybody.
No, it's all we have is the numbers, man. We're going down a rabbit hole that'll take up a whole nother podcast because I have a bunch of loaded questions I could ask you right now. So we should probably save that. We should probably save that for next week.
All right, we could do that.
So let's reel this back in. So the internet
has changed so much in 10 years. We could talk about it for 10 years.
Oh my gosh, we could because I have so many more things I just want to tell you. So
you should just write them all down.
Oh, I will. So the internet's creator of the decade, and it was hard to find, and I was able to narrow it down to shortyawards.com, which they go and they do all the digital social media awards of the year. And let me read you what the finalists of creator of the decade were. Rhett and Link.
Oh.
Liza Koshy, who just jumped on the scene, in my opinion. Lily Singh, S-I-N-G-H.
Lily Singh.
Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
And Jenna Marbles. See, I get Rhett and Link, Jenna Marbles, Casey Neistat. I'm not taking anything away from Liza or anything, but isn't she?
Right.
Well, you can make an impact anytime, I guess. No, I take it back. I'm not going to say nothing. So, and Marcus Brownlee.
Yeah. He just hit 10 million.
I do not know who he is, but
he's like a tech YouTuber.
He beat out. You know what? I've seen him at VidCon.
Yep.
Like I've seen him. I recognize his face. He beat out everybody for creator of the decade. He beat out Dude Perfect, Phil DeFranco, Tyler Oakley, Hannah Hart, Markiplier, Gigi Gorgeous.
I don't know who that is.
Yep. So that was it. So he beat everybody out. Good for you. I don't know who you are, but good for you. But wow, that's a lot of people that have done stuff over the last decade. You know, and I don't even know where Tyler Oakley's been lately.
He still makes content. Very rarely, once in a while, he'll upload a video.
Dude Perfect took everything by storm, though. Dude Perfect's got a lot of they got like a lot of reachability because everybody can get behind Dude Perfect. They're never in trouble. They're wholesome. Wow, I'm really surprised that maybe that didn't win, or even Phil DeFranco. He's had a lot of impact. Yeah,
and he's been around for so long.
I was really shocked that Marcus got Creator of the Decade, and I am not familiar with any of his stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Do you want to know what the group had to say?
Well, yeah.
Overwhelmingly, Gone to the Snow Dogs. Gone to the Snow Dogs, Snow Dogs Vlogs, Gone to the Snow Dogs, Snow Dogs Vlogs, Gone to the Snow Dogs, Casey Neistat, Jenna Marbles, two Jenna Marbles, Neebs Gaming, Charles Trippy. Oh, I know Di put that on there. Jess Hatch. Oh, one pity Dan Mosley, but you also like Gundam Style. Oh, I like Gundam Style too. Oh, you like Breath of the Wild. Oh, I don't know if we can be friends. Jacksepticeye.
That's hilarious.
Other than your votes, which I knew that was gonna happen. Overwhelming amount to people like the Jenna Marbles.
I love that Jenna Marbles can, like PewDiePie, can literally do anything and people just watch. She's been on the platform for so long. She can make whatever type of variety content she watches, and it does what she wants to, and it doesn't matter. People just watch it. I do admire that about her.
Yeah, we get to that certain level where you can totally... You're either stuck corporately or you have complete freedom like PewDiePie.
And she has complete freedom.
That's the way to be. So it was interesting. It was interesting what people voted on and what the internet had to say for favorite YouTuber of the decade. So that brings us to our last question. And this is a question that only you and I can answer and nobody else, because it's just for you and I. What was your most popular video of the decade, Jess?
So, not the one that came out last year, but the most popular video of the last 10 years.
Yes.
It's the watermelon treat video.
Oh my gosh. What year did that come out in?
2015.
And how many views do you have on that one?
14.6 million.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy cow. What?
Yeah, that's the most popular video that we've ever uploaded, was the watermelon dog treat video with Shelby and Oakley and Memphis and that. And the craziest thing was, the reason I made that video was because I saw a picture of somebody that had made watermelon dog treats, and I thought, this is so cute. And it was July. I'm like, this is so cute. Everybody loves watermelon. I can create some watermelon dog treats. So I made watermelon dog treats. And then I can't remember if it was my idea or Jamie's idea. I'm pretty sure it was Jamie's idea to take the watermelon and use it as a bowl. So to put all the frozen treats into this watermelon bowl for the photo. The thumbnail for that video is absolutely horrible. I hate it, but it worked. Everybody else seems to like it, but I don't like it. I think compared to some of my thumbnails that I put hours of work into, I don't like it. But yeah, it's my watermelon dog treat video has 14.6 million views. It is the most popular video I've ever uploaded to YouTube.
Something's popular year round.
All the time. Yep. Followed closely by strawberry ice cream and cupcakes for dogs, which has just over 10 million views.
Wow, that's a lot of eyes that is crossed. That's 20 million eyes. Well, I mean, a couple pirates could have watched it, so that's right. Close to 20 million eyes. There it's
a lot.
Is all your top videos food videos?
So it's the watermelon treat video, then the strawberry ice cream video, and then there's the patriotic popsicles, and that one's got 8 million. So that's the top 3, and then The fourth video is Siberian Husky gets a new pool, but it's not the new pool from the one we got this year. It's actually a video that I uploaded in May of 2012. It has 6.1 million views, and it was uploaded when we won the Creator on the Rise. So it got a lot of views from that, and then it just for some reason continued to grow. And then there's 3 more treat videos after that, and like in my top 10, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And my top 10 most popular videos, 8 out of 10 are treat videos.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Out of all my top videos, 8 out of 10 of them are videos that feature you. So I get it. I get it. But wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't expect that. I expected a couple million, but I didn't realize that watermelon video had that many views.
Yeah. It's our most up until early this year, it still grew the most views every month for forever, and then just recently it dropped off
until next
time.
So
probably on the vlog channel, the top video with over 1 million views is Shelby's birthday pool party. So apparently people like my dogs in the pool.
Yeah, is that what the combination is? Because I can't think of like why that would be so popular.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, Shelby's birthday pool party. And it doesn't even say Husky or anything in the title. It's a 20-minute long video for Shelby's birthday pool party. That was 2 years ago, I think it was uploaded. Huh. That's the only video on the vlog channel with over 1 million views. The second most popular one on the vlog channel for the decade is Memphis's grumpy dog after dentist.
I remember. Okay, I remember that. Wow, that one climbed quick.
Yeah, that one has almost 800,000, so it's getting up there for sure.
Well, may the monetization gods be in your favor for those ones. Oh my gosh.
Right?
That's good. So when I was going through my list, my numbers have less commas than you. And before this year, my biggest video was I got a Canon T5. And it wasn't even the T5i, it was just a T5. And I put a lens on there, and the kitten was laying on the carpet. And I was trying to play with the lens and get the autofocus down and stuff like that, and I hit record, and then I threw it up there, and I think I just said it was like a T5 lens test or something. That one got picked up, and that one got I think it's got 5,000 views on it. And then the one next to it was a GoPro Hero 3. When I got my GoPro Hero 3, way back in the day, I did a mini review video on it because I was mad that I couldn't find the tests that I wanted for vloggers on the GoPro video because GoPro was still being marketed as an action camera. So I made a vlog with it, and I'm like, this is what it sounds like when I'm outside. This is what it sounds like when I'm on the roof. This is what it sounds like when my fingers over the mic. This is what it sounds like when I'm in the shower. And that was the punchline of me standing there fully clothed. I think I was just fully clothed and just a shower running on me as I was doing a water test and stuff on it. And that one too had a few thousand videos. Then we get up into the videos when I came to visit you, and those have 8,000 and 10,000 views on it. But the one that had the most views that didn't include you, this is before I knew you, was the one of me mowing the lawn on my second channel. I think it was Otaku Dance 78 channel. There's a video of me just mowing the lawn to show my friend Ghosh in Japan, me mowing the lawn, and apparently that has 20,000 views on it.
That's so crazy.
That's a lot. The thing that trumped them all though was this year on TikTok, when I tried to make that beatboxing TikTok video, and I did that in one take. I was being silly. I couldn't beatbox, so I thought it was funny when they gave me a truth or dare question, and that one's got over 150,000 views on it.
That's so cool.
So that's good for me, right? And then I made this video a couple weeks ago on Rumbler. Rumble?
Yeah, Rumble. RUMB.LE.
And it was just me standing there answering a question about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I don't even recall what it was. And that one I looked today, and that one has 78 or 80,000 views on it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Rumble picked me up, and then they started posting the video, and then so the other day on Twitter I got a retweet. I'm like, what's this? And it was them posting my videos. So that one took off and did pretty well. But all my stuff's in the 100 in the hundreds. Pretty consistent.
Are you still doing Rumble?
Yeah, I did 3 more yesterday. It comes in batches. If I comb my hair and I look like I'm being fun, I'll do 3 or 4 prompts, and then I'll come back in a couple weeks and just let them sit around and stuff, and then it kind of just spreads itself out. So yeah. So I was on there doing that. I think the channel's got over 100,000 views already, so that's pretty cool. But it's the app's about, I'm not sure what the app's about. So it's kind of about nothing.
Right. It's a question app.
It's just a question
app. It is
definitely
definitely interesting. I haven't figured out how to leverage it yet. You've definitely won on that one. I have not figured it out yet.
Yeah, it's there's a couple of videos that did really well on there, and it's just people picked it up. So I don't know how you would be able to do stuff with the dogs on there on that angle, but I'm sure you could figure that out. Otherwise, just it could be a channel for you. But it's just you giving your opinions on stuff. Ooh, you love opinions. You would love it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should. But I never thought about that. I guess I never thought about it. I don't know. As soon as I picked up the camera and made my first video, I knew that video was making this for me. So I just didn't know what it would be like 10 years later. And boy, do I have a lot of memories, as you do too.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not, I tell people that all the time. I never thought when I started this all this time ago that it would turn into all of the things that it's turned into. Like, it's so different now. I mean, I started off with my original channel, and then I went to the Gone to the Snow Dogs, and then everybody, back in the day, it was the thing to have a main channel and then have a vlog channel. So when people started asking us, can you start a vlog channel? We started a vlog channel, which didn't grow as well as the main channel, but still grew really well. And, I've had so many side channels since then. Like, we had Arcade Snow Dogs, which I'm just not that into video games to make that channel work. I still wish I could figure out how to make it work, but I haven't been able to. So there's like that. And then we started the cooking channel, and, we have a Facebook page. We have Instagram. I've done TikTok and Twitter, and I was on, Keek when Keek was out. And it's such a weird thing, and it's not something that I ever envisioned doing for a living. Like, this is what I do. This is my job. And it's still strange. And like you said, it's fairly new. Not a lot of people do this. Not a lot of people.
Was not invented 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This was not a career option.
Just mind-blowing. It really is.
It was not. The invention of what you're doing, you're Gen 1. You're Gen 1 of this. That's why everything's new, and things fail, and things go up and down, and we got COPA coming, and it's a big mishmash because this industry is really young.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. Tomorrow is January 1st, and that's supposedly when they're going to start implementing all the COPA stuff. So we'll have to do a whole nother podcast on that, because is it all going to crash tomorrow? Oh my gosh. Man. Happy New Year. It's like Happy New Year. You think 2020 is going to be great? You were wrong. I said last night, I don't think we talked about it on the podcast yet, but I broke my bridge in my tooth. I cracked my bridge. I chipped it. I guess it's broke. I don't know. Whatever.
What were you doing?
Last night. I was nothing. I was sitting on the couch, and I think I ate a chip or something, and I'm like, wow, that felt really funny. And like the whole side of my, like if you were to have veneers, the veneers that go like over top of your teeth.
Oh yeah, I live in LA.
Well, so like veneers look like fingernails that are on top of your teeth. Like those fake fingernails. Mm-hmm. That's what broke off the side of my bridge. The only way I can think to explain it was like that, like the whole edge of my bridge broke off. It's not sharp.
Bondo job.
Yeah. And I told Jamie, I'm like, wow, 2019 just had to hit me one more time, right? And he goes, yeah, we still got one day left. And I'm like, I'm not leaving the house tomorrow.
Can't you just order a kit on Amazon and fix it yourself? Aren't we in that times now?
Maybe. I texted my dentist at like 12:30 at night, and he didn't message me back. But actually, while we were sitting here doing this, he texted me back, and he wrote, I'm out in the boonies. Are you in pain? Is it broke or chipped?
What is the boonies for you? Because you're in the boonies for me. What does that mean?
He's probably in the woods where he has barely any service.
He's all just get some super glue and white out. You'll be okay.
Oh, right. Well, he's such a nice guy. My dentist is so nice. So I'm sure right away he panicked, and he's like, oh no. I'm like, no, I'm not in pain, and it doesn't hurt, and I can still eat. And if not, I'll just eat Jell-O. But
Are you really going to eat Jell-O?
Probably. I don't know. So I like Jell-O.
We are actually recording this on New Year's Eve, so this is going to go up in a few hours. What are your plans? What are your plans tonight?
I have no idea. I was thinking about that earlier. We were talking about making, like, nobody's coming over. Today is Eric's wife's birthday, so they're all going out tonight. We talked about maybe going out with them.
You should.
We have a guy coming over to replace the felt on the pool table today. So we're like, he's supposed to be here at 5. And Jamie's got to help him do that. So they're going to replace the felt on the pool table. So depending on how that goes, maybe after that, maybe we'll go out with them. It's not really our thing, and it's New Year's Eve, so it's going to be a lot of people. And like, the more I think about it, the more I talk myself out of it.
Yep, I'm watching you talk yourself out of it.
I don't do bars. I don't want to be around drunk people. I can't handle stupid. So like, but we want to go because Eric's going to be there and Corey's going to be there. And we're like, if we go with them and we're sitting at a table with Eric, it won't be so bad. But I don't know. And then now he was telling me they don't even know if they're going to go. So they might come over here, or we might go over there. Or I don't know what's going on. We'll probably watch the ball drop, and that's about it. We don't really usually do a whole lot on New Year's. I wanted to make like food and do that kind of stuff. I don't know. What are you doing?
My answer is shorter. I'm just gonna hang out at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play some Mario Kart or something.
See, we should just do that. That's what we should do.
Yeah, we'll play some Mario Kart later. We'll do that.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
Well, guys, that'll wrap up a decade of podcasting. Can we call it that? Can we get away with that since we've been podcasting close to a year now, but we've transcended decades? Have we done a decade of podcasting? Might be fudging it a little.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys have had a great decade. We hope you guys had a good year. And if not, guess what? There's another chance to have a good year today or tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this. So happy New Year's. We didn't even talk about New Year's resolutions. Oh man, we got to get out of here, guys. We'll see.
This is like a super long podcast. You got to leave. You're leaving all of this in. It's going to be extra long because, I don't know, people are going to be hungover and they're going to need something to listen to.
So that'll do it for this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. Find us on all forms of social media at CC Mouse Podcast. Hit up our merch at ccmousepodcast.shop. Our YouTube page is on fire. We love you guys in the YouTube page. And on that
Even though
note,
I haven't done anything with it in like weeks.
No, that's okay.
Shut up.
A new year, new hopes.
New year, new hopes. New year, new me. Not really.
We'll see you guys next week. Same mouse time, same mouse podcast. Bye.
Bye. Hey.
Yeah.
We did like a whole lot of things this year.
We did 51 things.
Holy cow.